a sight for my soul.
What's up? What's good? What is happening? This is the actual King Smith, and this is my Sunday vlog. All right. I typically do these vlogs on Sunday to talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about. And today I have the question or the subject of understanding rational versus reasonable and asking you, where do you tend to lie when you're making a choice or a decision? And what prompted this thought was a podcast that I was listening to earlier this week, in which the podcaster talked about how people make rational choices, how people make reasonable choices. And there's a psychology behind it, which, look, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to get into the deeper weeds of all of that. But what the person asked made sense. And I wanted to kind of work through my thoughts and work through it online here so that, I can kind of get this out there. And then maybe you can ask yourself some very similar questions about making rational choices versus making reasonable choices. All right. So before we get into all of that, where am I streaming at? I'm streaming across multiple platforms. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the actual King Smith, and Twitter at just actual King Smith. And if you want a link to all of my social medias, look, I'm out here. Okay. I'm public. In the description box below on both Facebook and YouTube is my link tree. It has all of my social media platforms. They're all open, to include LinkedIn. I have pretty much everything except my OnlyFans link. And if you're new here, your boy does have OnlyFans, but it's not what you think. All right. It's a business decision for something that I'm thinking about long term. We don't think about short term stuff over here. I tend to be somebody that leans more towards reasonable thinking. Okay. So let's get into it. First of all, shout out to my YouTube wifey, Tarika Smith. All right. She is in the building. And she said, hey, hubby, hey, Tarika, look what I'm wearing. All right. Your shirt came in today. I like to support people that support me. And I bought a shirt that Tarika was selling. So it just came in. I decided to put it on right now. So yeah, thank you for supporting the stream and all of that. All right. Before we get into this, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit that like button for your boy. Help me out on the algorithms. All right. That's the algorithm over here. All right. So what is rational? Let's start off by putting the definition of rational up on here. Now, this is according to dictionary.com. All right. Rational is a set of reasons or a logical basis for a course of action or a particular belief. For example, he explained the rationale behind the change. Okay. Now let's take a look at reasonable. Reasonable of a person having sound judgment that's fair and sensible. Okay. And an example in a sentence is no reasonable person could have objected. Now, I started to think about both of those, and I wanted to share a story that just happened today, actually. I completed the 23andMe DNA ancestry test. And for those of y'all that know me, I can be petty, right? I can be irrationally petty, actually. And my kid's mother had asked to see the results of my DNA test. And I told her, nope, not happening. My reason for doing it was being petty, though. Okay. I didn't have a reason to not really share that type of information with her or whatnot, but your boy was being petty, right? It was an irrational decision. Well, this was months ago. And today, my daughter had her ancestry 23andMe results come in. But instead of me having it on mine, her mother got her the test kit, but created her own account and then linked her results with my results. And by doing that, was able to then see the results from my ancestry test. And when I thought about it, I had to laugh because to me, I was like, she was playing the long game this entire time. And although that wasn't necessarily the case, it turns out in the end she got what she wanted anyway. But I shared that story because it was funny to me. It wasn't what she was doing, but to me, it was like she was playing chess over here and was about 10 moves ahead. And I just had a good laugh at the totality of it all. But for me, I made an irrational decision to say no to that request. All right. And I'll do that. I'm not one that can sit here and say that I'm more of a rational versus irrational decision maker. I think that I more tend to focus on making a reasonable decision when I'm looking at what types of decisions that I'm going to have. That's more around sound judgment, around being fair and sensible. I also think, and like I said, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that studying human ways that people do things, but when I think about rational decision makers versus reasonable decision makers, I think that people that make reasonable decisions live on the logic side of the house, and people that make rational decisions tend to be more emotional. And I think that that's what gets most people in trouble. Okay. So I think people can rationalize any decision for what they do for their own selfish reasons. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish, but a reasonable person, I think, makes more of a decision that in the group or the grand scheme of things considers the totality of everybody and not just themselves. So it's my opinion, and y'all can prove me wrong, that a reasonable person won't make a decision that's selfish. A reasonable person will make a decision that, in their opinion, is better for the entire group. But I would like to know y'all thoughts on that. All right. I took down some notes, right? And reason isn't about the coordination norm really in itself. For example, driving on the wrong side of the road as a result of forgetting what country you're in isn't unreasonable. I've been to Europe. I've lived in Japan for 3 years. And when you drive in other foreign countries or foreign to you, okay, you may have a car that the steering wheel is on the right side versus the left side, which is how it is in the US. And they drive on the left side of the road versus the right side of the road. Okay. So if I tell you that, all right, and you still do it, chances are that is an example of being unreasonable. All right. Because you knew what the right thing to do and still chose to do the wrong set of actions anyway. And that's the kind of stuff that can get you in trouble. When I think back in the past of a lot of the times that there was discourse in my own life, it was likely a result of me either being irrational and or unreasonable. And people that uh, lean more towards being irrational or unreasonable for a majority of their lives don't make good social connections as well. So you have to ask your own self really personally. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Words, I do know them. Um, understand why you make the decisions that you make. All right. People take time to be introspective. Man, words are escaping me today. Hold on. Take the time to understand why you make the decisions that you make, right? And understand either the rationale behind it, and if it's self-serving, or if it's more logical and reasonable, why it works for you or why it doesn't work for you. All right. There's a person that's listening to this vlog, and I'm not sure if I mentioned to this person exactly why I had to make a recent decision that I'm going to have to live in, right? I'm going to have to live in that decision. I could have rationalized myself making a different decision than what I was initially wanting to. And it was what I was feeling versus what I thought was, right or wrong. And it wasn't a easy decision to get to. But for me, thinking about that decision, it was more reasonable to get to where I got to than rational, which would have been a lot more self-serving for me. It would have been selfish to have made the rational decision because I would have rationalized why I wanted to do or go down a path versus making the reasonable choice. All right. That is, let me see. I think that's the only notes that I wanted to talk about for this one today. When you're thinking about like fear, right? Fear of water is a reasonable fear. Folks don't want to drown if you can't swim, whatever. If you're driving while drunk, that's a rational decision, right? You've rationalized the reason why you wanted to go ahead and crank up the car when you've had too much to drink and can put other people's lives in jeopardy. Some people might say that that's irrational, but I disagree. Like I said, I'm not an expert. All right. I'm just giving my thoughts on this topic and this discussion as well. I guess it's not really a discussion if I'm on here live giving just my opinions on the matter. But I like doing these vlogs. I like sharing these different thoughts just to maybe start up a conversation or get people to think. And I don't know. I think I've said in one of my prior vlogs that it's my hope that some of this stuff, like in the moment, I may forget to talk about with my own kid. But hey, if something happens, like yesterday when I was coming back from Baltimore, all right, that's how the local people say it. Baltimore. Shout out to Michelle for teaching me the proper way of how to say Baltimore. I almost got into a car accident. All right. And in the moment, I didn't really think much of it. But the driver of the car reached over because it was me, one other guy, and then the lady that was driving the car. She reached over and put her hand and arm in front of me like she was trying to protect me. And in the moment, I didn't think nothing about it. But right now, I'm like, hold up. I'm a grown ass man over here. I don't need you putting your arm for this accident that was about to happen. But it was people making irrational decisions on the road, driving 70 to 80 miles an hour and not understanding the space and stuff around them. But I just not thought about it. I'm gonna actually have to text her and realize, hey, did you realize you did this to me? A grown ass man over here. I don't need you putting your arm over me. I'm gonna send this to her. I'm gonna send this specific part to her because I don't even think she realized that she did it. Okay, but I was down in Baltimore having a really good uh, volunteer event where we was in the local community, giving back to the kids and just talking with the people. I had some uh, long life Baltimoreans, if you will, folks that have lived and have 3, 4, 5 generations of people that's grown up in downtown Baltimore, just kind of talk about how things have changed. And it's good hearing other people's stories. Everybody has a story, okay? Everybody has a story. My story may not be interesting to you, but it's interesting to somebody, right? And I was sitting there listening to this guy talk about his family, some of the people that his family's worked for, and all of the challenges and things that have happened over the years throughout Baltimore. All right, and there was various people of various backgrounds that came to this event, and I wanted to hear and talk with whoever wanted to talk with me. All right, and I enjoyed the time that I was in downtown Baltimore, but yeah, no, coming back. Yeah, I had somebody put their arm across me like they was about to try to save my life. I don't know why I just thought about that instance, but it just crossed my mind as I was doing this vlog. All right. That's my vlog for today. It's going to be short and sweet. I'm going to be heading up to my homeboy's house. His wife's brother is joining the Air Force. That's a service that I was in. I was in for about 9 years. And there is Kay Harris in the building. She is a U.S. Army veteran. Well, she's not a veteran yet, but she's about to be there. Thank you for your long-lasting service for our nation. I appreciate you. And keep doing what you're doing over there. All right. But yeah, I'm going up to my homeboy's house. His sister's brother, if yeah, did I say that right? Kid's about to join the Air Force, our nation's great Air Force, and I'm going to go over there, see him off, shake some hands, kiss some babies, all of that good stuff. I hope everybody out there has a great rest of your Labor Day weekend. If you like your family and friends, take the opportunity to spend some time with them over this Labor Day holiday. All right. Rest, recharge, get yourself, ready for this last quarter of 2022. Fall football is here. College football kicked off this weekend. We got the NFL coming up. So y'all know how my weekends are going to be sitting. My vlog schedule might change a bit. I might have to actually choose a different day because Sundays in the fall, I'm going to be football all day. All right. Salute to you guys. Have a great rest of your day and come back and see me sometime. Peace.